We back again. Truth be told, I don't want to go in on KMichelle. I know there's a lot of videos that basically are going in on KMichelle, but I think that there are people, black people, that don't understand. And you know, I get it. Some people can be like, in certain situations, I understand when you want to be like, I'm not trying to educate you on how you were wrong, you know what I mean, or how you may have came across, you know what I mean. But I'm a come with love. I'm a first show love. I'm gonna get in your ass, K. I'm gonna get in your ass, Miss Michelle. But I'm a first come with love. So because I know that, well, I don't know, but the story has been told that KMichelle went through abuse. Now, whether it was physical abuse, verbal abuse, there was some type of manipulation, emotional abuse, some type of something. And I'm not saying it was just on her. Maybe she had, it's such thing as bilateral abuse, right? So KMichelle, when she first was blowing up, it was almost like her main story was that I went through abuse and I survived. Once again, you know what I mean? Survivors. Not believe all women, but believe survivors. And she survived. There was she made a video about it to display to the world. And I can understand how people be like, you know, that's too much. You're putting out too much out there. But sometimes you need to see how shit can really get. But I'm gonna just go on Shed Sade page because she had a video that I basically didn't realize that was a double standard, because KMichelle basically speaks on aspects of how black fathers should show up. But the thing is that what people are not getting in the conversation that she has with Cam Newton, that I want to give my take on, is we're not establishing the fact that, yes, we get it. There's certain black women like KMichelle that went through trauma and then blame all black women. I mean, blame all black men. You know what I mean? We get that. You know what I mean? It's not right, but we understand that there's a cause and effect type of thing. You know what I mean? There's a reason why she feels this way. We're going to go into that in the Shed Sade video. But one thing that she's nobody's really speaking on is that she's coming to Cam Newton as if Cam Newton can save her. It's almost like a plea for help. And that's the issue that I see that a lot of black people have when it comes to the savior complex, and also the complex that we as black men sometimes uphold as a mantle when it's really heavy. It's heavy. And I want black people to understand how it's heavy, like black women specifically. It's heavy when you come to me and you want me to take care of not only my own situation that I barely got a grip on, but you want me to be an example for you and your sons and your daughters. And it's like, that's heavy, dog. Yes, I can do the best that I can to be a great human being. Yes, that I can be the best that I can to do the best that I can with the situation that I got, the woman that I got. Mind you, the woman that he got, Jasmine, she's been on a whole press run of how she don't need a man, don't need a man, don't need a man. And then as soon as she in that nigga Cam Newton pocket, it's my man, my man, my man. You feel me? We could talk about that. That's a whole nother video, because Jasmine, she got a couple of things that I don't really fuck with when it comes to her. I think she's like Latina and like she's Spanish and black, and it's almost like we could talk about it just comedy effect, the comedic effect, but she almost puts on a persona, and she puts on this persona of how she's, you know, strong, independent black woman, and it's almost like a Baps persona, when you know the whole reason behind Baps was to be funny, to laugh at black culture. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, that's why it's that movie Baps is like a quote unquote cult classic, but it's like, it's not really a good depiction of black folks, specifically of black women. You know what I mean? Even though that is how some black women get down, that's not it. It's kind of like the black statue that's in New York for a temporary time. Yes, there's a lot of black women that are overweight that may look like that when they step outside the house, but is that a good representation of black women? Not the weight factor, just at the very least, how she's presented. She got a t-shirt on and maybe some jeggings. Them shits are like jeggings, hugging her ass. Maybe some jeans. And it's like, cool. You don't want us to talk about how she's big. Okay, cool. Because we understand that that's the truth, right? And sometimes the truth hurts, right? Yes. But I think that the delusional part that it sets in for black women that says that that's a great representation of black women is that, yes, it's the truth. But the main thing is that y'all not realizing is that when you have these conversations with other races, they're not looking at you and your your personality, like you as an individual. They're looking at you as that statue, big, burlesque, with the attitude on her face, like the resting bitch face. Like they look at you like that, or you have some type of similarity to that. That's why that's dangerous. I can talk about how, yes, black people are not all the same. We get that. Black American life is pretty much similar when it comes to finances. We all kind of broke. Let's keep it a buck. Even Cam Newton with his expensive ass socks that's pulled up on his shins, and his Mad Hatter top hat. You know what I mean, with the cigar. He if he wasn't looking for another way to get money, which is this podcast, because this is damn near like Shannon Sharp, we kind of broke, bro. And it's okay to admit that, you know what I mean? But the main thing is that, like I said before, I think that she loses, KMichelle specifically loses me specifically, and a lot of black men and black folks, because, you know, Shez Friday speaks on it, but a lot of black men specifically, because of her going to Cam Newton and kind of saying, you know, just waving her finger at what he should do as a black man. What he should do as a black man. I'm not going to cape for Cam Newton. I don't really get down with the whole multiple women and, you know, having them live with you. I mean, if you got it, you got it. It is what it is. But I just going to come with he's literally talking about how his complex with those multiple baby mothers has made him sit back and literally think about his decision making with the woman that he's currently with, which is good. You know what I mean? It means that he's actually trying to listen to the other side of the story when it comes to black women. But it's always with a grain of salt. You got to be careful on who you're getting your information from and where it's coming from. I say that to say, specifically a black therapist, Raquel, Miss Raquel, she talks about the word capacity. I'm going to play it at the end of the video. But KMichelle, your capacity to hold what you went through and not make it who you are is something that we all have to learn to work on. You know what I mean? Even myself. What we went through as people or as children or as black people, like, it's not who we are. You know what I mean? And it's hard to not internalize it. It's only human. But I think that she internalizes it so much that then it's almost like a flip of the switch. She says something completely different. I'm gonna let the video play. I'm gonna let it play because I'm gonna play two videos.
Topic. It oftentimes becomes a reason to blame black men for all the ways in which they're not showing up, and it is really never about black women being reflective on the ways in which they are not showing up. And so I just see it being a lot of cap. I see it a lot of, black men aren't being like white men treat me better, but then these white men never marry these black women. Like, and it's just the same old talking point. So, yeah. But anyways.
I wanted to go back to I want to let Sade speak, but I wanted to go back to the beginning of what she says. So you can
At what point in the black community do our men create real homes? So I'm asking right now, black men, and I tell my black men,
and she actually starts crying
for black women.
She starts crying
and create families.
But at what point do black men step up for black women and actually create families? She also states in this interview how black men are being abusive or somehow attacking black women. In this same interview, KMichelle, you attack a black woman. You attack Tamar Braxton and literally threaten her. Call her a muppet, call her out her name, call her a bitch. You are literally verbally attacking a black woman. You may have went through something with Tamar Braxton. It's a time and a place, love. There's a time and a place, because this right here, when you cry about how black men are attacking black women, but then you go ahead and attack a black woman within the same breath, it's kind of leaving people like, okay, What's wrong with you? Who hurt you? You know what I mean? Or it's like, do you even know what you're saying? Do you even understand what you're saying is contradicting? But we can't say that, because when we say that, then we are misogynistic. If it's a black woman that says that, she's a pick me. If she says that, she's a she's a, what do you call it? A victim blaming. You know what I mean? Like, it goes back to the accountability factor. I was just having a conversation with somebody when it comes to accountability, and how accountability sometimes is shifted from childhood to adulthood, and then we look for people that we did not, we look for people in partners or relationships that we know for a fact aren't good, but we're still seeking their approval, which is probably what she may have done with Memphis, the dude that allegedly what she says allegedly abused her. You know what I mean? And I said allegedly because we don't fucking know. Like, we can leave it to the judge, but there's judges out there that will literally say, okay, hammer on that motherfucker, throw his ass in jail for 10 years. We see it. We see it all the time. Niggas getting out of jail for 40 years for some shit that they didn't do because of the Innocence Projects literally proved them, and they still said, well, we know that we got the evidence now, but he might as well just go ahead and finish his 40-year sentence. Grown ass fucking man. Went to jail when he was like juvenile. I digress. The main thing is this. I'm going to let her play and let her speak on this.
It's really not cool.
It's not cool that black men don't show up in black families. Cam Newton looking like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Because he got his situation.
A few moments later.
Have you ever dated outside your race?
Yes, that's all I would like to do.
I beg your pardon. Now?
Yes.
I beg your pardon.
At this point, this is why Dr. Umar be like, he's beamed the fuck out, bruh. Because it's like, in the same breath, she says that she would, it's nothing else that she would like to do but date and be with a white man. Now, mind you, she also said, let me finish.
She's told black women to be open to dating even outside of their race. I love black love, and I would like that. But to see my African-American women sitting around waiting on a black man as he chooses whoever he wants to choose.
Do you look at that?
I do. I date. I've always dated.
Date.
Outside of my race.
Date.
And
date.
I would like for black women.
Date it. And I want y'all to understand what that means to us as black men. To men in general. Because if you're not seeking marriage, dating is just fucking around. Like, let's call it what it is. It's just fucking around. Like, we just fucking. We just kicking it. You feel me? On some Rocco shit. We just kicking it. You see what happened to Rocco and Monica? She got the fuck on because they was kicking it too long. They was kicking it too fucking long. If you know what you want, black women, go for what you want. Nothing wrong with interracial relationships. But when you do shit like this, now we got to talk. Now we got to figure out now we got to sit at the table and be like, okay, listen. Just like how I see black women saying that, listen, we ain't got shit to do with you and your new relationship with Miss Amy Wong. You know what I mean? Like, do you feel me? We ain't got shit to do with your relationship with Miss Cortez. Miss Cortez, we have nothing to do with that relationship. Miss Jennifer Bright, okay? We have nothing to do with that. I can understand that. Same thing goes when it comes to this. Like, we have nothing to do with what you went through. Okay, we understand that you went through some shit with black men. We understand that. But all of us, the collective, that's not us, okay? We show up, predominantly marry black women at a damn 70 to 80% cap, you feel me? Predominantly. Yes, you may see the other 20% that's basically marrying outside. They may have a little bit of money, Cam Newton money. You know what I mean? Yes, that may look like, yeah, you want to live that lifestyle. But the thing is that this is where the delusional factor comes in. I think that, I say it all the time, I think that women don't marry the man. A lot of the times, women don't marry the man. They marry the lifestyle. I've said this to my sister. I said this to my partner because it's like, it's just the truth. And we don't want to talk about the truth because it sounds like we don't care about the human being that the man is. A lot of the times, that's what the case is. And if you did, you would care about the fact that even if we were broke, even if we were on our ass, I'm not talking about struggle love. You gonna love that person when you go into work 9 to 5. You gonna love that person. You gonna do the best you can for that person. But if what you the what you have does not, if your tax bracket isn't enough for that person, whether it be man or woman, leave them the fuck alone, man. It is what it is, because that's just something that they value at that season of life. I hate using that word, season of life, but sometimes people change. Sometimes people change and they realize money isn't the issue. You're not the person that's going to teach her money isn't the issue, or teach him money isn't the main problem. You're not that person. You're not that guy, okay? You're not him. Him is up above. He's going to be the person that teaches that person. I would hope that they don't teach them through abuse or any type of physical harm. But sometimes that is what it takes for people to realize I chose the wrong person for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Just so happened that KMichelle feels as though white, you know, a little lighter is better. You know what I mean? White is right, you know, type shit. And if you feel like that, it's like, it is what it is. You know, the Shivas of the world, it's nothing. I ain't got nothing wrong with you. Just leave me the fuck alone. I pray to God that I don't have no type of woman that listen to her in any type of season in her life. The Shira drip drop, the drizzle lady, whatever they call it, whatever you call it, the sizzle. I don't sprinkle. But you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
And to be open to the people that like them. White men love me. Like, white men love me.
What? White men love you, but they ain't married you yet, Miss Michelle. White men love black women, but they don't marry black women at a rate that black men marry black women. As much as they talk about how much we hate black women, nobody talks about the stats on marriage between black men and black women. And that's dangerous. That's dangerous. Once again, talking about the rhetoric that we have amongst each other. These are the conversations that we have to have, because when you don't speak on these type of things, because I'm not going to hold you. I'm like, who the fuck? Drake? It's like KMichelle. But KMichelle, once again, is allowed on Cam Newton's. I think that, first of all, let's talk about the aspect that Cam Newton and his guest are a good promo. It's good promo because these women have been on Love and Hip Hop. What was the Dr. Bryant lady? Wasn't she on Love and Hip Hop too? So it's like he knows his fan base, but he also knows who, you know, what's been talked around town. I think that whoever his PR is, they're picking up women that basically are still in the loops when it comes to that space of love and hip hop. And it's almost like, so how are you doing? How is your life going? But they're also checking him. It's almost like they come to check. It's not an interview about their lives. It's an interview about Cam Newton's life. And that's the crazy thing that I don't understand. It's an interview about what he's doing wrong as a man. And it's almost like I see videos talking about they're disrespecting Cam Newton. No, Cam Newton's disrespecting himself at this point. Or it's just good promo, because bad news is still news. You know what I mean? Bad news is still good news at the end of the day to some people. But I just wanted to show that part on Shay Sade speaking on that aspect. But I also wanted to talk about the aspect of how she basically says in the same interview how black men are attacking black women. Let me see if I can find it. All right, so Average Man Unplugged, he talks about that too.
Because whenever you try to hold on.
Let me see.
What?
White. One, they go home at 5 and 6 o'clock when they're producing, because they go home to their families.
She living in her own bubble. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into
Well, being in Atlanta all this time and then going to Nashville, where it's predominantly
What?
white. One, they go home at 5 and 6 o'clock when they're producing, because they go home to their families. Being a country singer.
She missing her point. They go home to their white families, Miss Michelle. They're white, predominantly white families. It's like you from the South, and it's almost like you just forget the fact. It's almost like when you become a nigga with money, like, and I say nigga, and that has genderless. You know, that's my progressive moment for the day. I say nigga, that's genderless, but it's like when you a nigga and you get some money on you, boy, it's almost like you forget the aspect of how this world works sometimes. And that's why I think of Cam Newton in that sense too, because it's almost like when you get money, you forget the fact that motherfuckers do treat you. Yes, black people treat you wrong too. Yes, I get it. Black people are shady too. But be clear, even though they smiling in your face, those white people, just because they smiling in your face don't mean that they cool with you, bruh. And that's the thing that's the insidious nature of racism in America. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be, I'm gonna show you a noose. You know what I mean? Or put a noose in your front yard. You know what I mean? There's still economic redlining. You know what I mean? There's still that happening, especially in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like they talking about how predominantly most of the black towns. I think I showed it in my last video. Atlanta's damn near going back to white. I say going back because it's like I feel like at a point in time it already was, but because we were never really supposed to be over here in the first place, right? But Atlanta that was quote unquote the black mecca. It's being gentrified. It's literally killing the black quote unquote mecca of Atlanta. And listen, that's just how the game works, man. We could talk about how the city needs to do better, but it's like this is how this country moves. Capitalism is damn near neck and neck with racism in my eyes, because it's kind of like, no money, green don't see no color, but shit, it'll see white before it see black. I'll tell you that much. In a lot of situations, it'll see white before it see black. It'll see green first, but it'll see white before it see black. Like I said before, I think that she doesn't realize that, yes, white men are quote unquote in a better situation, but that don't mean that their better situation is always greener on the other side. You know what I mean, Michelle?
If you are a singer in country music, you're a man. If you are not married, it is not respected. Family is respected in country music in that space, but in...
All right, so yeah, I want to agree with her, but at the same time, I want her to basically be able to show empathy towards the other side, because I think that she's right in a sense of how much black community isn't respected, but it's not just not respected with black men. It's also not respected with black women. And for a reason that sometimes is out of our hands, because of the generational trauma of black women seeing how black men have been demoralized. Listen, on a human-based level, on a human fucking level, when you see over and over again the man being demoralized, inhumanely put in cages, inhumanely, for lack of better words, raped, inhumanely subjected towards fucked up, passive aggressive, sometimes even worse, inside the current workspaces, shot for little than nothing. You know what I mean? Not saying that black women don't go through it, but it's predominantly black men that die from these murders. Okay, let's just keep it a buck. Going based off of generality terms, it's mostly black men that are in jail. It's mostly black men that are killed by the hands of police. Not saying that doesn't, detract from the fact that black women go through it too. But when you see black men go through it so much, you start to think that maybe he deserved that. Maybe he deserved that shit. Maybe he was the monster. Maybe he is a nigga. The nigga that America created. Not us, not black people, because we good. We're good forming citizens. But there's no such thing as a black man that went to jail by a judge and he was innocent. It's like that's rare. That don't happen a lot. We don't have things like the Innocence Projects because it's like that happens a lot. What are you talking about? You see where I'm going with this? So I understand why KMichelle feels this way. I'm trying to show empathy, but let's be clear. I'm also getting in her ass because she shouldn't feel this way. And when she speaks on these topics, like she acts like I got to get in my Yvette Carnell Tone Talks bag. When you speak on these topics, you got to talk about racism. You got to talk about incarceration. And at the rate that black men have literally, like I said before in my last video, Louisiana was this incarceration rate within Louisiana was the world's largest incarceration rate in the world, Craig. You think that it was black women that was going to jail at that rate? KMichelle? So you got to be careful with these type of topics. You know what I mean? You got to be careful. You got to show nuance. You got to show the empathy. You got to show the knowledge of, I understand that this happened to you, but this is why you shouldn't do that. Not, this is what it is, and white people do it. Why can't you? White people do it. Why can't you? White people do it. Why can't you? I mean, white men do it. Why can't I don't like when men do that shit. When men be like, white women do it, why can't you? When white women be submissive, why can't you be submissive? I don't like that type of shit. That's weird. That's fucking weird. Because we know what the type of shit this country has made us into. Not white people, not Asian people, not Latino people, not even black Caribbean people. But be clear, after that first generation of black Caribbean or black African diaspora, after that first generation, they looked at it as like a nigga. They are no longer the African diaspora. They are a nigga. You feel me? And they find out horribly sometimes, but it's the truth. So when we talk about these type of subjects, I just wish that it was more nuance and more empathy shown on both sides. I'm gonna just say both sides. Because I do realize that there are some black men that will literally lambaste Miss Michelle and act as though she's supposed to know these type of things. When we talk about that, we also have to talk about the educational system with black people in predominantly suburban areas and how horrible they are. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always that black woman's fault. Yes, Googles, do your Googles. You can always do Googles. But just because you know as a black person don't really mean that that other black person knows. And it's either you're going to engage with them to teach them, or you just disengage and just don't engage with them at all. Because then you're talking to a brick wall. Because now they're mad at you for being mad at them for not knowing why you rightfully so should be mad at them. You know what I mean? I just wish we had more empathy for black folks that did not know or do not know what we may have gone through or what we may have come from, because they feel as though our capacity is to abuse black women. Our capacity as black men. There's some black women that feel like this. Our capacity as black men is to be a deadbeat, possibly, more than likely, or to not show up in the black family enough or give bare minimum. And some people's bare minimum is different. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Shit, some people's bare minimum is you ain't got good enough dick. That's just some people's bare minimum. And some people's bare minimum is you don't have a high enough credit score. It's just like petty ass fucking shit. Let's just call it what it is. Because we talk about practice or we talk about the game, Miss Michelle. We talk about practice or we talk about the game, because the game is till death do its part. That's the game. You feel me? We trying to win till death do its part. Practice is, I dated white men. That's practice. Practice is, yeah, I mean, I loved white men. I would nothing else but date white men. That's what you said. That's practice. They practicing with you. You understand what I mean? In all disrespect, because that's exactly what it is when they don't marry you. It's the same thing with black men and black women. I keep going back to that Rocco. We just fucking, we just kicking it. You feel me? And Monica kicked her ass the fuck on. She said, fuck this. I'm trying to marry a motherfucker. Y'all out here playing. We out here kicking it. I'm tired of kicking it. You know what I mean? I ain't even mad at that. You know what I mean? You meet people where they at. You believe them with what they tell you. Believe them when they show up who they are. Believe them. That's all. Don't have this fantasy dream of who Cam Newton is. Believe this is who he is. Don't try to change that man. If he wants to change, he will change. That's the point of being a man. You trying to change that man? Listen, I'm not saying that you can't upgrade him and try to be the best that you can as a woman towards him, but you cannot be a better man than him. You cannot teach him how to be a better man. A man is going to be a man, regardless of the situation that he may be in. I commend him for trying to learn the aspects of his current partner that he's with. I commend him for that. But you going up to his platform to tell him how he should marry the women that that's really none of your business. That's really none of your business. That's like me telling who what's her name, Melissa Ford should marry. Melissa Ford. I know Melissa Ford business because she told us that business. I really should know that shit. I should know the fact that she looks at marriage like sex work. I shouldn't know that shit. I should know the fact that she's had conversations with her partner and said that she wanted to fuck him and his friend. That she said that she was in love with, but she want to fuck him and his friend. Hey, I should not know this information. Back to the story. KMichelle, family is respected in... I can't even say that. Family is respected in certain parts of the black community. I can't even say that. Because I agree with her. Black family is not respected. And I think that it's not respected not just on the black men's side, though, Miss Michelle. There's a lot of black women that do not want to be married. And when they get married, they get unmarried and get divorced at a 70%, damn near 70% rate for unscrupulous reasons, mutual, basically dissatisfaction, financial reasons. Yes, there is fidelity. But when we talk about marriage until death do us part, what we on? We talk about practice or we talking about the game? You know what I mean? We talk about practice or we talking about the game? Y'all talk about practice when y'all talk about marriage. When women talk about marriage, y'all talk about practice. Like, I remember seeing this one video about this lady saying how when you're in a abusive relationship with a man and you go out into the world and meet, after that you get done with that man and you go out into the world and you meet a good man, he's just practice. He's giving you bare minimum. He treated you like a good person, how you were already supposed to be treated. She said, move on. Move on. He doesn't really love you. Move on. I get where you're coming from. I know how black men want to perceive this, but I do get where she's coming from. The thing about it is, love, you got to tell the whole story, though. Because again, I may come to her as the proverbial woman that you're talking about. I may come to her and be like, yes, I'm just giving you bare minimum. I'm treating you like a human being. I shouldn't be held to the same man's account of being, treating you bad. But I'm just treating you nice. I'm treating you good. I'm treating you well. I'm going out, I'm taking care of you, making sure you're fed. I may not want a relationship with you because I realize that you still got some baggage from your last nigga. You know what I mean? But that don't mean the next man won't. If he treats you the same way that I treat you, that don't mean that he's lesser than. I think that that's what people are going at with that video. It's a video going around saying that the first man that comes into your life, he's treating you like how you're supposed to be treated. You don't really love him. That's not always the case, love. That's not always the case. Love is the most weirdest shit sometimes. It is the most... I mean, think about it. We love people that treat us and abuse us, and sometimes it's unconditional. Sometimes you probably never met the person and you just be like, I'm in love. Maybe infatuation, but you be like, I'm in love. Now that other person, they may not be in love, but I'm smitten. And I think that men understand that unconditional love more than women, because let's be honest, women gonna put a condition on that motherfucking love. Does he treat me well? You know what I mean? Does he make sure that I'm well fed, well taken care of? How much money does he make? Is he a certain height? You know what I mean? Does he got locks? Is he bald? What does his teeth look like? How his feet look like? You know what I mean? Cool. When we do it, it's a problem. What she look like? How thick she is? Is she pretty? I mean, what type of, what her feet look like? She got pretty toes. There's some niggas out here that will dump you because of your toes looking crustaceous. You know what I mean? And that's the craziest thing to me, because that's why I understand some women will not go leave the house without their toes being done, because they are always on the prospect for a new nigga. And I say new nigga intentionally because it's not for marriage. It is not for marriage. You talk about practice or we talk about the game, coach. You feel me? What we talk about? Because y'all talk about practice. Women are talking about practice when it comes to marriage, not the game. Not that till death do us part shit. I'm not saying stay in a fucking abusive relationship. I'm not saying that, because I think that KMichelle was in a marriage with old boy, Memphis Hits, which is a crazy fucking name for him to be an alleged abuser. It's a crazy name. But yeah, see more, because he talks about more of this conversation.
Literally turn the narrative on black family, And my grandfather, I watched my uncles and everything. My whole family, they're married. I'm not the girl who didn't see what a man creating a black family is supposed to be. So I'm asking asking right now black men. I got to turn my.
She's not asking black men. She's asking Cam Newton. She's asking black men like Cam Newton. She's not asking predominantly most black men who are not Cam Newton or don't make Cam Newton money. Predominantly, most of us are, call it what it is. We're average to broke, middle class to broke, and middle class is dying. If you don't know black men, middle class is dying. If you can't tell what Trump is doing, he's trying to basically gut the fucking middle class. There's no in between. You either broke or you rich as fuck. That's just what it is. Excuse me. Let me clear that up. Because rich now is middle class. You either broke or you're literally generational wealthy. Middle class, that's why I say there's no such thing as middle class. Because middle class is literally niggas that's millionaires. That's middle class now. That's why there's no such thing as middle class. It's either you rich as fuck or generational wealth, or you're broke as fuck. There's no in between. He's trying to gut all of that shit. You see what he's doing with the government system as far as like how much he's trying to take away Social Security. I don't even know if we're going to have that shit. That's the one.
It is, but the truth is, if you lack capacity, it's because you're underdeveloped. And I'm not talking about your potential. I'm talking about your patterns, your emotional range, your tolerance for pressure, your ability to respond instead of react. You can be highly intelligent, deeply self-aware, a strong communicator, and still lack the internal structure to carry hard things without shutting down. And that's what capacity is. It's not about how smart you are. It's about how built you are. Built emotionally, built mentally, built in how you handle uncertainty, pressure, conflict, disappointment, change. When we say someone lacks capacity, what we really mean is cognitively, emotionally, and behaviorally, they are still underdeveloped. They haven't matured in places where life keeps pressing on them. And it shows. It shows in how quickly they get overwhelmed and how often they avoid instead of adapt, and how everything has to be a boundary, a break, or a shutdown. Even in how self-care becomes a full-time job because life feels too heavy. The truth is, most people aren't fragile, they're just underbuilt. And no amount of awareness, journaling, or nervous system regulation can replace what it means to actually develop, to build that inner strength, to sit in discomfort long enough to become someone who can hold more without losing yourself in it. So if you're tired of everything feeling like too much, ask yourself, is this truly about what life is asking of me, or is it exposing the parts of me that I never trained? Because capacity isn't personality, it's development.
Capacity.
So I've tried to find nicer ways to
development. And I'm looking at the questions that she has. This lady basically, I was first on the fence with her because I was kind of like, it was giving off of the vibe of you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But the thing is that it's not so much that, it's more so the aspect of you're the only person that can save yourself, dog. So at the very least, what you gonna do? You gonna sit on your ass, or you gonna do something about it? If you feel hurt, why do you feel hurt? And then when you understand why you feel hurt, do you sit with why you feel hurt? Or do you try to expand of who you are so that hurt don't hurt you again? The 3 questions she says, 3 questions I'm sending it with this week with her capacity journal. That's her word, capacity. I need to learn more about that as far as how she defines capacity. But here's the 3 questions. How are you using your freedom to create the life you truly want? You know what I mean? What are you doing in your spare time, basically? How are you using your freedom? Oh, excuse me. That's the second one. What does self-control look like in your life, and how does it align with your long-term goals? I need to work on that. I'm not going to hold you. What does self-control look like in my life? You know what I mean? I need to work on that my damn self. I'm not just giving this to y'all. This is for me too. This is why I fuck with her, to be honest with you, because it has made me question my own patterns. You know what I mean? My behavior patterns. What would it look like for you to leave a lasting impact in your field or your community? And to be honest with you, these type of videos, even if it isn't talking about art all the time, even if it isn't talking about black community or black people, black life all the time. I've had videos talk about black life in general. You know what I mean? Even if it isn't talking about, I do know that it will affect somebody. Everybody not gonna like me. I understand that. I'm not trying to be liked. I'm not trying to, like she said before at the end, I don't want to be a personal that's liked. I want to be a person that's real with myself at the very least, and then real with the world around me. You know what I mean? Because yes, I can feel what I feel about what KMichelle says, about black men, but I also understand her black life as a black woman, not in the sense of what she went through as a black woman, but understand what she may have gone through. You understand what I mean? With the stories of black community when we talk about these things. This is going to be the stories that last fucking lifetimes. At the very least, last as long as YouTube is up. And YouTube been up for a bit. For a bit. You know what I mean? Not the longest, but for a bit. And these YouTube stories go on to social media stories. Those shits last. And it's like it keeps reverting, you know what I mean? It keeps regurgitating the information. You know what I mean? It may change from time to time. It may grow legs. But that's why you stay up on what you believe. Or at the very least, you update who you are. You update your capacity, for lack of better words. So yeah, I'm gonna leave y'all on that. Her name is Raquel, the capacity expert. That's her word. She damn near coined that term for real. But I really would love to hear more conversations from this lady, because she really has made me think about what I think about and how I think about things. Like even my past videos, like I don't like the aspect of getting on the internet and basically saying these things, this type of things, but I do realize that not only have these things not really been said in the first place, but in the context in which I'm speaking on them. Not on some she's bad, she's wrong, she's a whore, she's a 304, she ain't shit type shit. Right? Not like that. But do you understand that there are people that are like that have the same gender as you? We already understand that black men are fucking looked at as monsters. Us black men understand that we are looked at as monsters. Sometimes we incorporate monster-like behavior because of how we've been treated, not only by the world, but by our own women. We incorporate that because of our capacity, going back to the capacity expert, because of our capacity of that's what we think that our bubble, we literally go to the brim, and that we think that bubble of monster, that's all we can be. That's all we are. The gangster, the real nigga, that's their capacity level. There's nothing other than that. You understand what I mean? When we hear black women speak on things like black men don't really show up in community, some men get mad at it because they know that in deep down they don't have the stats or the research. I'm gonna give you the stats and the research. Some men don't have the stats or the research. Some black women don't have the stats or the research, but they feel as though maybe that is all I'm looked at as. Maybe that's all black women look at me, and that's my capacity to them. And they don't realize that they're literally making their own fucking home. I'm not only saying to black men, you are so much more. I'm saying to black women that you are more as well. And I will want to, just as much empathy as I'm showing to women like KMichelle, that may have went through what she went through. I don't want it to be a sense of me thinking that I'm saying that she is bad. Time and a place, love. You may like white men. You may like dating white men. They ain't marrying you. You may have engagements, but they ain't fully marrying you. And when you do get married, I really do hope that if you do get married to a white man, I pray that you blessed up, baby. But it's like this type of shit, going on Cam Newton's show, waving your finger in his face and telling him how he should show up as a black man. And then in the same breath, telling black men that they attack black women as you attack a black woman, Tamar Braxton, and calling her a Muppet. And at the same time, you telling how black men don't show up in families, but then you talk about how white men are always showing up in families, which is not the fucking truth. We cheat damn near at the same level. Main thing is that I said before, the capacity. I love how she explains. I'm going to link her page. I love how she explains how we need to do better when it comes to, yes, we can know these therapy terms, but how do we show up in the world? Is it just with these, are we these terms, or are we so much more than just these terms? You know what I mean? When people throw narcissism and all of that other shit, you know what I mean? People love throwing that word out there. I mean, we get it. Some people are fucked up. You know what I mean? We can call it what it is, but let's try to be better than just that. You know what I mean? That's all I feel. I'm gonna get off the fucking Al Gore's internet. Y'all be good, man. Take care of yourselves. Juneteenth is coming up. This is a nice little present before Juneteenth for KMichelle, of all people, telling us how black men should show up in in black community, and how she does nothing but want to date a white man. That is the most craziest shit, ain't it? That is a think piece right there. Or is it? Maybe she just mad at black men because of what she went through. And then it's like that. That's cool too. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Take care of yourselves, black people, man. Take care of yourselves, man. I'm about to draw some more not safe for work. I might hop on some games. I'm thinking about live streaming my gaming setup. Like, I don't really have a setup. I be streaming on my fucking Steam Deck. I'm not gonna hold you. I might be like, cause I be playing Path of Exile from time to time. I be playing Path of Exile. I was thinking about bringing back the Silent Hill 3 series, cause they're thinking. I'm not sure if y'all heard about the Silent Hill 1 coming back, yo. Silent Hill 1 remake. Bloober Team is going on a fucking assault, dog. Bloober Team is coming out with this other game called Chrono Dawn. It's a spooky game, and it's giving me vibes similar to what is that fucking game that the dude from Walking Dead. It's not the Silent Hill PT thing. It's the other game, the Death Stranding. It's the same type of suit almost, and they're walking through the town, and he's literally shooting fucking abnormal. I love horror games. I'm a Dead Space fucking junkie. I went on a Dead Space lore recently, but I love horror games, man. I need to crack open Elden Ring, to be honest with you. You see how I get. But what do y'all think I should be streaming, man? I'm thinking I'm probably gonna start streaming some more horror games, but I'm not sure which one. I'm probably gonna just stream Silent Hill 3, to be honest with you. I'll figure it out. Y'all be good, man. Take care of yourselves. And like that, we gone. Bun. Okay.